Working Week this week, the young man who's turned his back on university to set up his own business.
It's getting to be quite a well-known little company, little brand. It's got quite a good rate of sale.
We'll be looking at Nottingham's growing green sector. That's a mouthful.
Big growth in terms of renewable energy and sustainable construction, building and design type activities. Very much on a growth curve.
And the squash coach who's teaching managers how to improve their business performance.
That's what the business is all about, helping people to improve their performance and feel better within themselves.
Welcome to Working Week. My name is Coleman, that's Des Coleman.
And I'm Rob Pittham.
And on the sunniest day of the year, we're in the middle of Nottingham city centre. It is a beautiful day.
We can't stay away from the market square when the weather's like this. And I imagine, Des, that smoothie sales are going through the roof right now, which is good news for one young Nottingham businessman who set up a smoothie making business.
He's just turned 20 and already has his own business. In fact, Ben Nichols from West Bridgford was only 17 when he actually set up So Smoothies. It was what his mum calls his eureka moment. This is where it all started back in 2011. Ben had a bit of time on his hands in the summer holidays, started making a few concoctions in his granddad's blender. Apparently those early attempts weren't very successful, but eventually hit on some winning combinations. And Ben, just how disastrous were those early attempts?
They were really, really bad. I wouldn't like to drink them again thinking about it. I wouldn't give them to anybody, not worse than me.
How long was it before you found a concoction that you thought would be a success?
It was about 3 weeks. Nearly 3 weeks till I found one that was really, really good.
Why did you think the market could do with another smoothie?
There weren't really that many other smoothies around, so there's a couple of brands that everyone knows, but apart from that there aren't any, and especially not in the East Midlands. There's nothing local. There's the odd shop which makes them in the shop.
Fiona, what was your reaction to Ben's attempts to launch his own business at the age of 17?
A bit of a surprise. We don't know really where it's all come from, but it has. It's happening and it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Did you have to help him financially?
No, we haven't. He's funded his own development. We've just contributed towards the car and buying a laptop, but that's as far as it goes.
Ben is so taken with life running a new and growing business, he's postponed going to university. He's sold more than 30,000 bottles since he started. He's now supplying 28 shops and regularly has a stall at local festivals and farmers' markets.
Soon we're going to be outsourcing the manufacturing, so we're going to be getting them made in a different factory where we can actually process them further to get a bit of a longer shelf life. We're not pasteurising them, we're going to do it in another quite sciencey way, it's quite hard to explain. And then we're going to be moving away from selling to shops directly in small quantities to selling to wholesalers. And it's just the next step, the next logical way to move.
Ben is finalising a deal with one of the main supermarket chains, which could see his smoothies on their shelves locally from next year. This young entrepreneur really seems to be going places.
There you go.
Well, they say the proof of the pudding is in the eating, or tasting in this case. This is strawberry and banana, so let's have a taste. That is delicious.
Ready when you are, go on.
OK, time now for a look at a sector that's growing rapidly and becoming more and more important to the Notts economy, green businesses. With rising fuel costs and worries about global warming, sales of environmentally friendly products like solar panels are soaring.
The last statistics we had talked about around about 30,000 people in Notts and Derby working in the kind of emerging green economy. Those statistics, I think, are probably a little bit out of date, but certainly big growth in terms of renewable energy and sustainable construction, building and design type activities, very much on a growth curve.
At Nottingham's Antenna Media Centre, local firms who are developing the industry here in Nottingham are gathering to swap ideas, and growth is in the air.
Although we're a tiny business, we work for blue chip clients
Tonight we're talking to Chinook, who have recently got one of the largest contracts in the world to build an energy from waste plant in the Middle East. They're creating a big new development up at Bulwell that's going to employ about 200 people, a manufacturing facility and an energy from waste facility. We've got companies like Romax, who do a lot of the technology around wind turbine gearboxes, Monsell in Mansfield, who recently been invested in by GE, massive great investment from a kind of American global consortium to actually start to take their renewable energy technology and market it worldwide. So there's some amazing companies locally based and some great news for Nottingham.
And what's the potential then? How big can it get in this part of the country?
It can get massive and it's growing all the time. I think there are big opportunities in terms of, for instance, the water side. Blueprints have pioneered very kind of green housing and they're looking to replicate that all through the development in the water side. We've seen a big emphasis on kind of recycling energy from waste, and there's whole new supply chains starting to emerge around things like wind farms, especially offshore wind farms, with kind of, they're talking about 80 to 90 billion pounds worth of investment in over the next sort of 15 to 20 years, which a lot of kind of local engineering companies could benefit from in terms of making many of the components that go in things like wind turbines. So phenomenal opportunities.
OK, thanks very much, Neil. Well, talking of growing businesses, Helen McCulloch has been along to meet a fitness instructor who's making sure business leaders get their companies healthy.
The routine that we're going to do is called a boast and drive routine, where both of you are moving.
Mike McLeod is a squash coach with a difference.
Try and dominate the centre of the court, try and dominate the tee, and don't be left in the back.
His business, Salcatech, aims to improve performance. From the squash court to the boardroom.
OK, throughout family, throughout work, throughout sport, business and so on, we have those fears and doubts and anxieties that we want to kind of sort out and move forward. And that's what the business is all about, helping people to improve their performance and feel better within themselves.
And what kind of clients do you get coming to you?
Well, I have either the squash clients or, in business, the scientific customers, people from the NHS, from the local council, also from sort of distribution companies and so on. For instance, I do group sales coaching, helping salespeople to improve their performance.
What about you? Yeah, I felt a lot more positive when I was in the right position, so when I could able to get to the ball and sort of be there when I needed to.
Whilst Mike now coaches his clients through games of squash or a tricky sales pitch, he says he wouldn't be where he is now without the help of his own business mentor.
Where do you find the information when you're on your own? In a company, everything's provided. So this was new to go out there and get the things that I needed, so I needed that direction.
And Mike got that direction from Nottingham Business Ventures.
Excellent. OK then, show me what you can do.
The first 12 months are crucial for any business. So having somebody they can pick up the phone to, email, just check that what decisions they're making around the business is on the right track. Our advisors and business mentors won't make decisions for the clients. It's their business, they need to own it. But it's just, again, just testing ideas with somebody, just making sure that, just the comfort zone really, comfort blanket.
Oh, of course I will, though.
Meanwhile, the sun's still shining here in Nottingham and Des has still got the autograph hunters. And whilst we're enjoying ourselves, the real journalists are out there still working away. So let's cross now to the Nottingham Post newsroom and get the latest business news. She was pleased with that, wasn't she?
She certainly was.
Yeah.
Do I not go
From Richard Baker. No.
Oh,
You're too busy signing autographs.
Oh, well, I'll go.
The next one's coming in now.
It's been a big week for Nottingham. The city's secured an absolute boatload of money from the government for investment in the city's economy. Now, depending on how far ahead you look, it could be 50 million, it could be 170 million. The government has even suggested that there's so much money coming in that it will attract other investment totalling more than 500 million. Now, either way, it's a lot of money, and in a way the amount doesn't matter. What matters is what that money's going to be spent on. And we've had a look this week at 3 of the really big projects that people are going to notice. The first of those is the biggest single project, in fact, a new college building just the other side of Broadmarsh on what's currently some derelict land. There we're going to see 2 colleges come together to deliver courses which should train people to work in some of the city's best known industries, including, for example, retail. So it's big news for the city's economy, big new building, and they're going to call that a skills hub. The second project is another new building, and that's going to be somewhere near a place called BioCity. Now, BioCity has been a big success story for Nottingham. It's a place where there are all sorts of science firms who work in things like drug discovery work, which Nottingham's famous for. But it's been so successful that BioCity is actually running out of space now. And what this new building is going to do is allow some of those businesses in BioCity that have grown up to move on into the new space and make space for the next generation of businesses to come through. So another success story for Nottingham. Now, the last thing might well be the most noticeable, and that's a plan to do something about the whole area around Broadmarsh, which, if we're honest, is never going to win any beauty contest the way it is at the moment. There are already plans to do something about the Broadmarsh shopping centre. The City Council signed a contract to get that revamped last year. But this new money from the government funding is going to pay for a spruce up the whole area around Broadmarsh so that the car park's going to look better, the traffic's going to be moved, what we call the public realm, which is basically things like street lamps, pavements, all that kind of thing. That's going to be made to look an awful lot nicer. And the reason that the council wants to do that is that it will make for a much more attractive face when people walk into the city from the new railway station. So some big changes, a lot going on, a lot of money, and I'm sure that Working Week's going to be talking about that again in the future. So back to Des and Rob.
Good old Richard, eh? I hope he's not too hot in that stuffy newsroom.
Yeah, and in the second half of the show...
Well, it's our first holiday together anyway, so a bit of sunshine, we're happy.
I'll be finding out what you're doing for your holidays.
Skeggy again for you?
Yeah, no wrong with Skeggy. This is the time of year for making.
Welcome back to Working Week, and Des has found some more old friends, Rod and Elizabeth this time. What are you doing this half, Des?
Well, I'll be finding out what you guys are doing for your holidays.
We do like Skeggy, and we do like camping as well.
Camping,
So yeah, we're all for Britain. Britain's good.
All that to come, but first I'm back at Antenna, and as you can see, things are livening up a little bit here at the Clean Tech Network, and I've managed to bring out a couple of people who've got green businesses here in Nottingham. So Jerome and Kevin. Now Jerome, I'll just speak to you first of all. Jerome, what's your company? What do you do?
Well, I work with the Nottingham Energy Partnership. We're a charity-owned business, so it's a social enterprise. Really the aim of the organisation is to drive forward carbon emissions reductions and to support the growth of the local low-carbon economy. So we work with large organisations like NHS trusts, all the way down to small organisations or businesses that actually want to supply into the low-carbon sector.
And why do you think there are so many firms like yourself in Nottingham? What's special about this place?
Nottingham's got a long history of engagement with the low-carbon issues, as it were, and we've got the UK's largest district heating network. More recently, the work that the Nottingham Energy Partnership's done in partnership with health and local authorities, we've rolled out masses of programmes around domestic energy efficiency. We now have 1 in 40 of the city's houses have solar panels on the roof.
Well, thanks, Jerome. You've nicely set up Kevin. So Kevin Hard, you're from Evo Energy, based out in Chilwell, and people might be surprised to find that we've got one of the country's biggest solar panel companies here in our patch. Yeah, so tell us about your firm then.
Yeah, so we grew up in Nottingham, so we've grown to be one of them market-leading rooftop solar PV installers. So we employ nationally. So the head office is Nottingham, so we get some real good talent from places like Nottingham University.
Which is where you're from, isn't it?
Yeah. So and then but we've got 4 offices all across the country. We work everything down from Cornwall up to Scotland. We work with the Big 6. We're partnered with npower and E.ON, and we do a lot of the solar installations for them. Some of our local programmes were Nottingham City Council, so we did a 1,000 house rollout with them. We're also doing the Nottingham Tram, the tennis centre. So in terms of Nottingham businesses, we've done quite a lot of work.
So tell me about some of the companies you've been working with. It's firms like BMW, isn't it? Really big names.
We've just done the 3rd largest solar PV installation in the country. It was around 12,000 panels on one rooftop.
12,000?
It was incredible. You walk on the top of the roof and it's a sea of solar panels. But we're helping really contribute towards BMW's carbon savings, helping them secure their power prices. And it's great projects like that.
What does it mean for Nottingham that a company like you is based here then?
Primarily Nottingham's just a good hub for networking, getting good talent. We can access the rest of the country, so we can jump up and down the M1 really good. We've got good support, and we've got a positive council that's really after green and saving carbon. We work with the local NGOs, so it's an NEP that really helps us just really work in partnership and use everything to our advantage.
Now, thanks, Kevin. And Jerome, there's undeniably a real buzz about this place, isn't there? I mean, is this a sector that's growing in the city?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the point actually Kevin just made about that local interest in this sector. I mean, we've worked with the public sector locally over the last 10, 15 years, and a lot of the big organisations locally, like the universities. Nottingham University is the world's greenest university. Nottingham Trent University is I think one of the greenest universities in the UK. And the NHS locally are very committed to reducing their carbon emissions, as well as the public bodies like the local authorities. So there's a real demand there for these services that we've helped as well. Sort of focus through working with those sort of organisations. So I think that creates a marketplace. That procurement drive creates a marketplace, which means there's a lot of businesses who are supported by a local demand and then can spread and sell those services further and wider. And we're now, today and yesterday I've been working with the Savannah University in Georgia, looking at carbon management, because in the US carbon management is still a very young field, and they want to learn from what we're doing in the UK. So the sort of services we provided to the local authorities and the local NHS, now we can actually start to export as knowledge to other countries that are starting to take that on, and learn from us.
So Kevin, how big can your company grow?
We're installed nationally, so my intention is to make sure we're solid in the UK. We've layered in lots of different finance solutions, so I think one of our key objectives is making solar available to everyone, whether that's in Nottingham or whether that's in the South Coast. It's making sure we've got all the different finance packages available for anyone to be able to do it.
Okay, so I've got an average semi-detached house. How much is it going to cost me to have solar panels installed?
A typical home now, the average system size is around 3.2 kilowatts. That will cost in the region of £6,500. So that's still quite a lot of money to a lot of people, but the key thing there is those homeowners are getting around 11-12% return on their money. That's the most important thing.
Well, two guys there with very interesting business ideas, but how do you go about protecting those business ideas? Well, that's where intellectual property law comes into force. And Jane Dodge has been to meet one Nottingham business that's been doing just that for more than 100 years.
So, Tony, tell me a little bit about the history of the firm.
So we're almost 125 years old. We're celebrating that anniversary this year. We've been based in Nottingham throughout that period, starting off with offices near the Rope Walk, moving around various locations and now ending up here in a brand new building on Talbot Street. I understand the gentleman involved in setting up the firm recognised that Nottingham, being a centre for lace manufacture, was a centre of innovation and development of new technologies. By helping those companies to protect the intellectual property surrounding that technology, they help those companies get a key commercial advantage.
It's all a bit dry, isn't it? I mean, is it a very interesting job?
Well, actually, a great example is when we look at the types of products that our clients might be developing. For example, a ballpoint pen such as this. We can look at the various types of intellectual property that might have gone into developing this ballpoint pen. Obviously, it has a logo on it. That's our company logo, and a company name. That logo and that name is going to be associated with this company and the type of experience somebody might have if they work with us. And we obviously don't want to let any other company use that name and that logo and try and piggyback off of our good reputation. There's also the technology underlying how this pen works. So there's a device, a mechanism in the pen that regulates whether the nib is in or out of the pen. There's the visual appearance of the pen, the design, the way it looks, which is also something that we can help our clients to protect.
Pens, of course, old technology. But what if you're a Nottingham company with a new product you want to protect? Here's Jane again.
This is a boardroom with a difference. There's a bike in the corner, but not just any old bike. It's been designed and developed by a company in Nottingham, Watt Bike, who describe it as the best indoor bike in the world. Kirsty Maxfield, you work here, you're trying it out for us. What, in your opinion, makes this model stand out?
It's as close as it gets to being out on the road, really. So compared to other indoor bikes, which you can find the resistance being quite sticky, it's really smooth on this, and it's just great to have all the feedback that you get. So I can apply it to all my training with power.
Tom, you're the marketing manager here at Watt Bike. What is it on this bike that really creates that effect that Kirsty's talking about?
As Kirsty mentioned, the resistance system is totally unique. It's a combination of air resistance and magnets, so it gives it a super smooth feel. Unlike a lot of other indoor bikes, so there is a kind of a graded resistance. This is super smooth, and you can really be specific to make sure you get the wattage that you need, and a lot of the data that we're seeing up on the screen at the moment.
What are these dials telling us?
So the information we have here is it takes a reading 100 times a second of exactly what Kirsty's doing. So we're looking at cadence, so the RPM, the power in watts, which is super accurate, which means Kirsty's able to train absolutely specifically for her needs. And then at the bottom, which again is a unique feature of the watt bike, is the balance between Kirsty's left and right leg, how she's delivering power as she pedals, which again is a completely unique feature.
How important is it to you and the business to protect the technology and the ideas behind this?
Yeah, that's clearly the key. The way that we capture the data is the IP of the product, and that's very carefully and heavily protected with patents and so forth. It's difficult, even if we were to show it to somebody, for them to understand how to do it, but clearly we're not going to go and show people how we do it. But it is unique. A lot of other manufacturers and scientific research centres had been working on a similar project and not managed to achieve what we have achieved. So what we've ended up with is a bike that can be used at the very top level of elite sport, can be used in scientific research, can be used in the medical environment, but at a price point that makes it affordable for a home buyer.
If you could go to any holiday destination in the world, where would it be?
It'd be staying in this country if we had the weather. It's got the best views, it's got the best people in the world. I'd stay here every single time.
What would be your favourite destination?
I would say Ireland, really, because the people are friendly, the food's good, and not only that, the outdoor life, the mountains, the lakes are so beautiful.
Mainly to mum and dad, so who's got a house in Spain, so it's quite cheap for me, just the flights and stuff like that.
If you could holiday somewhere, where would it be?
Miami.
Why is that?
It's my dream, I've always wanted to do it.
And where wouldn't you go on holiday?
I wouldn't go to Benidorm, purely because it's meant to be like trashy, obviously what you see on TV and all the stag do's and hen parties, just make it all trash.
I've not been out of the country in 10 years nearly, so I'm desperate to go overseas, to be honest with you. I love home, but at the same time, yeah, anywhere else. I actually quite fancy the Caribbean now I think about it. Yeah, Caribbean.
The money's no object to you guys then?
No, not.
We're thinking long term. I mean, long term, one day in the future, yeah. But the here and now, it probably would be Skegness.
Do you prefer to holiday in good old Great Britain?
If you've got the weather, yeah, definitely, because it's so beautiful. But unfortunately, as you know, we don't get the very good weather very often.
I went to Dominican Republic last time, but I've not been anywhere because I'm looking for somewhere to live at the minute. So holidays have to take a back seat, unfortunately.
Well, it's our first holiday together anyway, so a bit of sunshine, we're happy.
And what would be the best thing about you two going on holiday?
Being together, probably.
I'd say just, yeah.
And the sunshine.
Being together in the sunshine, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Well, that's the end of another show.
And as that woman said that you were talking to, Britain's the best place to be when the weather's like this. And Des, we've managed to finish within striking distance of a bar. I don't know how we do it. Should we off?
Let's go.